Have you ever looked at a map of the United States and wondered how it got so big? It is a vast country stretching from one great ocean to another, but it did not start that way, not at all. The story of America's borders is a story of ambition, of conflict, of deals, and of destiny. It is the story of how a thin sliver of land along the Atlantic coast grew, piece by piece, into the continental giant we know today. It all began with 13 small colonies. They were English settlements, clinging to the eastern edge of a vast unknown continent. There was Massachusetts with its rocky shores and Puritan spirit. There was Virginia with its sprawling tobacco plantations, Pennsylvania, a haven for Quakers seeking peace, Georgia, a buffer against the Spanish to the south. But they shared a common bond, a tie to a distant king, and a view of the seemingly endless wilderness that lay just beyond the Appalachian Mountains. After the Revolutionary War, a new nation was born, the United States of America. In the year 1803, President Thomas Jefferson faced a dilemma. The port of New Orleans at the mouth of the Mississippi River was vital for American farmers. But New Orleans and the vast territory of Louisiana belonged to France, ruled by the ambitious Napoleon Bonaparte. So he sent negotiators to Paris with a simple mission: buy New Orleans. What happened next was something no one in America expected. Napoleon made a counteroffer that was simply staggering. Why buy just a city, he asked, when you could buy the whole territory? For about 3 cents an acre, the United States acquired 828,000 square miles of land, a territory that would one day become all or part of 15 new states. As the United States looked west, it also cast its gaze to the south. The peninsula of Florida was a troublesome neighbor. General Andrew Jackson, a hero of the War of 1812, was sent to the border to restore order. He did more than that. He invaded Florida, captured Spanish forts, and showed that Spain could no longer control its own territory. Meanwhile, another story was unfolding to the west, in the vast territory of Texas. American settlers declared their independence from Mexico. They fought a short but brutal war, a conflict immortalized by the famous battle at the Alamo. The idea of manifest destiny had taken hold of the American imagination. American settlers traveling the treacherous Oregon Trail began pouring into the region's fertile valleys. In 1846, the two nations signed the Oregon Treaty. They agreed to divide the territory peacefully along the 49th parallel. The Mexican-American War lasted for 2 years. American forces invaded Mexico, winning a series of decisive battles and eventually capturing Mexico City. In this treaty, Mexico ceded a massive amount of territory to the United States. This land included all of present-day California, Nevada, and Utah, as well as parts of Arizona, New Mexico, Colorado, and Wyoming. One such place was Alaska, a vast and remote wilderness to the far northwest of the continent. This territory belonged to Russia. In 1867, United States Secretary of State William Seward negotiated a deal to purchase Alaska from Russia for $7.2 million. Many Americans thought it was a terrible idea, calling it Seward's folly. The final chapters of American expansion were written not on the continent, but on islands far out in the Pacific Ocean. The turning point came with the Spanish-American War in 1898. In 1898, President William McKinley signed a resolution annexing the Hawaiian Islands. From 13 small colonies on the Atlantic coast, the United States had grown into a continental nation, and now an imperial power with possessions scattered across the globe. The journey was complete. The map, once a small strip of color on the edge of a continent, now showed a nation whose size and influence its founders could have scarcely imagined.